What's going on, YouTube family? This is your man Pristine, back with another video, back with another unboxing for the Google Pixel 10 Pro. Yes, it's time for the Google Pixel 10 Pro to get the Pristine treatment. All right, now, before I go any further, please be advised that in the description box, there are timestamps. Okay, I don't want anybody to miss that. Right? Because this is more than likely going to be a pretty lengthy video. And if you don't want to watch it from start to finish, you don't have to. You can get down in the description box. You can pull up the timestamps and click on the information that is most pertinent to you. Okay? And you can keep on stepping, baby. Keep on stepping. Yeah. So without further ado, let's do this. Now, Google Pixel 10 Pro. Out of the Pixel 10 lineup, usually I would opt for the Fold variant. And the reason why I chose not to this time around, or I'll say as of yet, because knowing the techie in me, when that phone comes out on the 13th of September, today being September 1st, I may just melt and fold and go get the Fold. Pun intended. You know what I'm saying? I'm just such a tech nerd, and when new tech comes out, I'm like Pookie, man. It just be calling me, man. It be calling me. You know what I'm saying? But what I have found when I invest $2,000 plus in the latest Fold device is that about 98% of the time I spend using the external display, and I don't really open the phone much at all, which is wasteful because you're spending that premium price, you know, for the capabilities that those folding phones have, and having that bigger canvas to, you know, web browse or multitask or view your content or what have you. And I just don't use it as much as I thought I would. And so to save money but still get the new Pixel 10 experience, I opted for the Pixel 10 Pro here. Okay, so that's why this is sitting here before you and not the Fold. But don't be surprised if I hit you on the 13th or maybe shortly after that phone is released with an unboxing for the Fold. I mean, just because yeah, new tech is like crack cocaine. I just can't stop. You know what I'm saying? So, let's do this. So this was released on the 28th of August, a few days ago. And, you know, I picked it up from my local Best Buy, did the pre-order. There were some pre-order promotional things that were going on with the phone. With this particular device, you know, if you ordered it through Best Buy, pre-order rather, you got a $200 Best Buy e-gift card, which, you know, I think is nice. You know, you can, you know, get a case for the phone. You can get one of the Pixel Snap wireless chargers or something like that and still have a little change left over for you to maybe grab something else in the store that you want. Now, the credit can only be used in Best Buy stores, but I think that that's a nice little incentive for the pre-order. I believe that, you know, Google was doing something similar. You know, you got like a $200 credit or something, but that's just with this device, right? It varied depending on which device you got. So if you ordered the Pixel 7, you got, I think that was $100. If you ordered the Pro, you got $200. If you ordered the Pro XL, I think you got $300. And then if you ordered the Pixel 10 Pro Fold, then I don't know, maybe you got I don't know. I can't remember exactly what they did, but I know that pre-order for this device on the Google Store and in Best Buy, you got a $200 e-gift card credit for the pre-order, which is nice. So we do have different variants. We've got a 128 gig variant, we have a 256 gig variant, we have a 512 and a 1 terabyte variant. Now, the 512 and the 1 terabyte variant has what's called zoned UFS. The 128 and the 256 gig variant does not offer that. Okay, so just be mindful of that. Now, this is the 128 gig variant. This is going to run you $9.99. Okay, plus tax. Okay, I live in Seattle, Washington. Tax is 10.5%. You do the math. Okay, now we've got the 256 gig variant, which is $1,099.99, and then the 512 gigabyte variant is $1,219.99, and the 1 terabyte variant, I believe, is going to be another $200 than what the 512 gigabyte variant cost, which means that's going to run you $1,419.99. I believe. Somebody correct me in the comments if I'm wrong about the price for the 1 terabyte variant. But I believe that is the price for it. Okay. Now, that is just pricing. The specifications, right? Your hard-earned cash, what's that going to get you? It's going to get you a 6.3 inch 1280 by 2856 LTPO OLED Super Actua display. Super Actua display. Okay. We've got a 20.5. I'm sorry, we've got a 20:9 aspect ratio. I was looking at something different. 20:9 aspect ratio, smooth variable refresh rate from 1 Hz to 120 Hz. We've got a 495 ppi pixel density. We've got Corning Gorilla Glass Victus 2 cover glass. We've got up to 2,200 nits HDR brightness and up to 3,300 nits peak brightness. Okay, now the internals, the guts, what we got? We got the Google Tensor 5G G5 chipset. Okay, the Google Tensor G5 5G chipset featuring Titan M2 security coprocessor, 16 gigs of RAM, 128 gigs of storage, running Android 16, stock Android fresh out the BizOx, octa-core CPU with the Power VR DXT 48 by 1536 GPU. Okay, I don't know all those specs. I'm just, it sounds monstrous. It sounds like performance, you know. So yeah. Now, that's what we got going on for the internal specifications. Now, the cameras, Google is claiming these to be the Pro triple camera system. Okay, we have a 50 megapixel wide lens. We have a 48 megapixel ultra wide lens. We have a 48 megapixel 5-time telephoto lens featuring ProRes zoom up to 100 times. And we've got optical quality zoom at 0.5x, 1x, 2x, 5x, and up to 10x. Okay. As far as recording, we have 8K recording at 24 or 30 FPS, 4K recording at 24, 30, and 60 FPS, 1080p recording at 24, 30, and 60 FPS. And trust me when I tell you, these cameras are featuring all the things. Okay? If you don't believe me, go to Google, find this device on Google, in the Google store, click on tech specs, scroll down to the camera specifications, and you yourself will see all the things. You will see a plethora of features, functions, AI capabilities, all these nuanced things that you can do with this camera. Some things new, some things old, you know? So yeah, you got a mixed bag of things that you can do, you know, with this camera. Now, the selfie camera, we've got a 42 megapixel dual phase detection lens with autofocus. This is an f2.2 aperture. This is a 103 degree field of view ultra wide lens, and we can record at 4K at 30 or 60 FPS, 120p recording at 30 or 60 FPS. Now, the battery life, we've got a 4,870 milliamp hour non-removable battery. Okay, fast charging capabilities up to 55% in about 30 minutes. This is what Google is claiming. And this is using the 30-watt USB Type-C charger, which is sold separately, right? You can tell by this box, there's no charging brick in the box anywhere in sight. And so that 30-watt charger is going to be a separate accessory that you're going to need to go and buy. We have USB Type-C 3.2 OTG, which stands for on the go. We have Pixel Snap wireless charging. This phone is Qi 2 certified. And we have wireless charging, or I believe we have reverse wireless charging up to, Well, wireless charging is going to be 5 watts. Now, Pixel Snap is a new thing that they added to the Pixel. It's not necessarily new, especially to iPhones, right? Because they've, I think that they originated this thing just by building magnets in the back of the iPhones that you can, connect, with cases, wallets, wirelessly charge them on the go, that type of thing. Well, Google decided to implement a similar technology, to the new Pixel lineup here, and it's called Pixel Snap. And so, you can, and it's compatible with, say if you have an iPhone and you have a bunch of, magnetic things that, wallets or wireless chargers or whatever, it will work and it will be compatible with those things as well. So it's not like you have to go and buy all new Pixel branded or Google branded accessories. Is say if you already have an iPhone and you've got a lot of those accessories for your iPhone, you'll be able to use those things with your Pixel 10 Pro here as well. So that's pretty cool. All right, now colors and dimensions, we've got moonstone, jade, porcelain, which this is the porcelain color, and obsidian, which obsidian is the black color. Now the dimensions, we've got 6 inches in height by 2.8 inches in width by 0.3 inches in depth, and we've got 7.3 ounces as far as the weight is concerned. Now, additional features, we've got IP68 water and dust resistance. We've got an ultrasonic fingerprint sensor under the display, I believe. Face unlock, Bluetooth 6.0, NFC, stereo speakers, satellite SOS, crash detection, circle to search, nano SIM or eSIM compatible, camera coach, which camera coach is a new feature within the camera where, say if you're just, an inexperienced individual, in the camera department, you're just more of a point and shoot, but that the camera, offers capabilities in order to up your photography game. Well, what Camera Coach does is it literally will coach you on how to take the best photos possible on your device. And it's like a tutorial, right? You can be in a particular setting and it will basically guide you and offer pointers and tips on how to get the best photo in that particular setting. It's actually really cool. So you've got Camera Coach, you've got Live Translate. So if you're talking on the phone to someone, Live Translate is going to translate the conversation in real time in your own real voice. So I believe the way it works is these voices are AI generated to sound just like you, so that if you're speaking to somebody of a different language that you don't speak, as you talk, it's going to translate to that other person in the sound of your voice and the sound of the other person's voice who's going to be translating to you. The AI throughout the device is going to translate what they're saying in English in their voice. Right? That is insane, right? That is super dope. I mean, now for me, I don't know anybody that English isn't their first or second language, right? So the chances of me having to use something like this are slim. I don't really travel that much. I doubt, anytime soon I'm traveling abroad or something like that where I'd have to use said technology. But in the event in which I do, right, if I'm talking to someone and they speak English, but there's a bit of a language barrier or they have a really thick accent and I just have problems understanding. And, sometimes when you're constantly asking people to repeat themselves because you can't understand what they're saying because of an accent, they start to get frustrated. Well, this can mitigate stuff like that. Right. And the fact that I'll be able to have a conversation with someone in English and it's going to translate to them in their language using my voice. And then whatever they're saying to me in response to that is going to translate what they're saying in English in their voice. That's pretty dope, man. That's some pretty nice AI technology. Apple. Apple. I hope you're taking notes, Apple Intelligence. You know what I'm saying? I hope you're taking notes, Apple Intelligence. But yeah. And then as I mentioned, Pixel Snap, which is the new magnetic technology that you've got, with the device. So that, ladies and gentlemen, is all of the specifications, that I've got to ramble off. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get underway with the unboxing. And looking at the presentation, like I said, this is the porcelain color, and the box appears to be the same color as the device. I haven't seen the other colors boxes, and so I'm not exactly sure if the color of the boxes on those other colors are the same color as the device. But I think that this is pretty cool. I mean, it's just like a tan color. Go ahead and turn this light on, make it a little brighter. Yeah, I think that this is pretty cool. Okay, box presentation to the left, we've got Google Pixel 10 Pro. Bottom, we've got the serial number, IEMI, all that stuff, and then also Pixel 10 Pro right there in the bottom. To the right, Pixel 10 Pro, top, Google logo. Obviously the front, you've got, that very profound Pixel look. You look at that camera array from afar, you know that it's a Pixel. To the rear of the device, we've got Pixel 10 Pro, 5G, millimeter wave, and sub 6. I mean, so we do have, the two different types, of 5G connectivity featured on this device. It's not just one or the other, which is nice. I mean, so you should be able to pick up on 5G pretty much, wherever 5G is offered. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is about it. So we'll go ahead and remove these tabs here, which I believe is going to free up this little cover here. Okay. Let's see. I'm trying to slide it out and not tear it. Oh, come on now. Okay. That's what I was trying to avoid. But, all right, well. Oh well, gotta do what you gotta do sometimes. All right, so here we are. All right, so right off top, when you open up the box, you are greeted with your nice shiny new Pixel 10 Pro. All right, go ahead and pull the tab here. Oh, well, that tore. We'll get that out the way. All right. Oh, whoa. This, ladies and gentlemen, this is, wow. The way this feels in my hand. Wow, I wasn't expecting that. I mean, the rounded corners, man. You guys see that? Yeah, it's like the phone, the corners, they slope down to fit in your hand, and then the rails, my goodness, I mean, the rails are rounded. Wow, that feels really, really good in hand. Wow, what a beautiful piece of tech. Look at that. It's like that porcelain and gold. Wow. That is nice. I wasn't expecting that. I mean, it looked nice in pictures and on the box and all that type of stuff, but wow, this is, and it's got a little weight to it, right? So you know that this is premium material. Wow, I'm impressed the way this feels in my hand. Just these rails, it's like the rails are rounded. Like, I don't know, I wasn't expecting it to feel the way that it feels. Wow, yeah, all right. All right, so we'll let that boot up. And then you see there, we've got the Type-C to Type-C charging cable. Again, no brick in the box. And then on the upper portion of the box, we have your, your quick start guide. And, oh yeah, I forgot, there is no SIM ejector tool in here because the Pixels have, they have copied Apple, and you can no longer put SIM cards in these devices. And that sucks. I cannot say that I'm a fan of that at all, because, you know, I like the SIM card pop, and yeah, so these phones are only eSIM. There's no more physical SIM, nano SIMs that you can put in this phone. All right. So, you know, we're greeted with the typical, you know, Pixel greeting when you purchase one of their devices and you crack it out of the box. Let's see here. Okay, close. All right. So again, as I mentioned, 6.3 inches corner to corner to the left or right side of the device here. You see, this is beautiful. We've got an antenna line here, volume rocker, up and down, power button there, another antenna line right there. To the top of the device, we've got a noise canceling mic, and antenna line here. You can see that little microphone right there in the glare of the light. To the left of the device, we've got an antenna line at the top and bottom, one right there by the camera, one right there on the bottom of the device. On the bottom here, we've got, I don't know if that's a microphone or one of the stereo speakers. There is a little slit right here at the top. I don't know if you could see that. It's really, really thin, but I believe that that's one of the stereo speakers, and it's long too. And like it goes nearly from the full left top side all the way to the right side. I don't know if you guys could catch that. Let's see if I can get it. It's really, really thin, but it's there. Type-C port, another antenna line, bottom firing speaker. I think this is just a microphone here. It looks just like the speaker though, so I'm not sure. That could just be the dual stereo speakers both on the bottom. I doubt it though. I believe that there's a speaker in the earpiece. And then to the rear of the device, you see we've got the G for Google, the logo, and there is that camera. And you could see the camera. It protrudes pretty dramatically. Now, I believe that when you put a case on this device, you know, the case provides protection to where it provides a little bit of a lip that kind of overlooks the camera, so that if your phone is sitting on a flat surface, it's not sitting on the camera. Now, you know, like this is like, it's a gaming mat that I have on this table, and there's a monitor right here, you know, where I'm pointing, and then, you know, I've got my Switch 2, you know, connected to it. And this is where I game on my Switch 2. So this is just like my gaming setup slash, content creation area. So this is nice and soft. I mean, so like if it's sitting on this mat, I'm not concerned with there being any scratches or anything like that. But if it's sitting on a table that's, you know, wooden or just something, yeah, you don't want to do anything to, you know, damage these cameras, because they're serious, right? They're serious cameras. All right. So yeah, that, ladies and gentlemen, is the hardware. I'm going to step aside real quick and get a few things set up. I believe I'm going to go ahead and, you know, this is my Pixel 9 Pro Fold. Get everything moved over to my new Pixel 10 Pro here, and then I'll be right back with you, and we will go over some of the software features, functions, take a look at the camera, all that type of thing, and then we'll go ahead and, you know, close the video out, you know, doing what I typically do in unboxing fashion. There's going to be a transition in the video, so for you it's going to seem like a couple of seconds, but I'm probably going to be sitting here messing with this thing for at least the next 45 minutes to an hour, and then you know, make sure that everything transfers over nice and smooth, and then, you know, I'll be right back with you. So you guys hold it down. All right, y'all, we are back in with the Google Pixel 10 Pro. And I've got to say, I'm largely impressed, with the device. I love the feel of the device in hand. Another thing that always that I find very striking is the haptic engine, right? The haptic engine on this device is man, it really feels good. It's not this cheap vibration motor, yeah. Like it vibrates, hard, strong. You're gonna, feel it in your pocket. The way it rumbles in your hand. I mean, it's really like when you feel it, you kind of forget about it, and it kind of sneaks up on you. I mean, when you do something and you feel that vibration for the first time, it's like, oh, okay, wow, and then you're just like, wow, it's refreshing. It's right on par with Apple. I think that, Apple and Google are probably, the two top dogs as far as the vibration engines that they have in the devices. I mean, they really seem to take that seriously. I feel like other OEMs kind of skimp on it because they don't really, they don't think it's a big deal, or maybe they've turned their attentions toward other things that they think should be points of emphasis. But I mean, this has to do with how the phone feels, whether it's in your hand, in your pocket, whatever. And so I really like, just the attention, that gets paid to that type of stuff. I mean, to me, it's all about the little things that really go a long way. And so, I appreciate, the haptic engine being what it is. Yeah, so far, so good. And so got everything set up, situated here, got all my apps and everything downloaded, got all the apps updated rather. I know that there was an update. I'm not sure if it was a software or a security patch, but there was an update that the phone went ahead and did. And so now we are current with everything. Okay. And so what I'll do is I'll pop down into settings and about phone is no longer at the very bottom. Okay, so we'll go to about phone, device name, Pixel 10 Pro. I don't have any, I don't have an eSIM or anything like that. So let's see, Google account, legal information, regulatory labels. Let's see, where is Android version 16? Okay, Android version 16, Android security update August 5th, 2025. Google Play system update June 1st, 2025. And so there is, your proof that Android 16 is there. All right. And yeah. So moving right along, we will... I really wish that the Pixels had, the double tap, to lock the display. I understand that they have, the double tap feature to wake it up, right? But it doesn't have the double tap feature to, lock it. And I wish that was something that existed on the Pixel. It's not really a big deal, but we've got the ultrasonic under the display fingerprint sensor right here. And, the placement, I don't have an issue with the placement. I'm pretty sure some people will say things like, oh, they wish it was lower or whatever. I think that it's in a good spot. And so it's on all the time. You don't have to tap the phone and turn it on. You just put your thumb on it and boom, it just opens up just like that. Okay. Now for accuracy, we'll go ahead and just take a look at that. One more again. Boom. Device just opens up just like that. Now we do have face unlock as well. I will demonstrate that as well. Let's see here if I can capture that on the, boom, just like that. Okay, let me see. Hold the phone up and it just opens right up as soon as it recognizes your face, as you just saw. I mean, so biometrics are on point. And yeah, I mean, it works as it ought to. Now, performance, again, we've got 120 hertz variable refresh rate. It goes from 1 hertz to 120 hertz based on what you're doing. And so things are like super duper responsive. Okay, and this is my Google Now feed, and it's just a bunch of football stuff, Florida State stuff, Philadelphia Eagles stuff. So everything is going to be nice and fluid, fresh out of the box, obviously. I don't have anything, set up on the device. Oh, well, I moved everything over from my Pixel. So, I guess everything is, set up as it was on the Pixel, which is nice. I don't have to like put in like usernames and passwords and all that type of stuff. But you saw how it just popped, right into YouTube there. Again, we've got the Google Tensor G5 chip, installed here in the 10 Pro. And so, that's the latest chip from Google. And, as far as like benchmarks, how it stacks up against the Snapdragon 8 Elite, or even the Exynos 2500, which is the chip that Samsung decided to put in the Z Flip 7. Comparable, to the 8 Elite, but not quite, as far as like benchmark tests that I've seen. But, the Tensor G5, I'm not exactly sure how it stacks up against either one of those chips. I want to assume that, it's going to be able to, hold its own to some degree. But hey, you never know. I mean, I will say, on my Pixel 9 Pro Fold, I mean, we've got the Tensor G4, and it's all systems go on that device, right? Like everything is nice, speedy, fluid. And this is the new chip. So why wouldn't it, be a top performer? You know what I mean? So again, I don't have an eSIM, downloaded onto the device. And so I'm running off of my home network. Obviously, speeds are going to differ between, a strong home internet connection versus a network that your phone is connected to while you're out and about. And so just be mindful of that, just depending on, the frequencies that you're picking up, how many bars you have, things are going to be super snappy and they're going to open like that. Other things, they may take a few seconds or what have you. Not really a big deal. But yeah, I mean, the phone, it's doing what it's supposed, it's doing as I would expect it to do, fresh out of the box. Okay. Now, obviously, what the tail of the tape is going to be, how it performs over time. But I've never had any issue with any Pixel devices, over time, slowing down, all that type of stuff. I mean, I'm very conscientious and meticulous with the way in which I use my phone. I don't have a bunch of tabs and stuff open all at once. I mean, so a lot of the slowdowns that a lot of people experience because of self-inflicted things, if you will, like, yeah, I mean, there could be malfunctions and pieces of the phone that could be faulty, that could cause malfunctions and cause it to slow down. But oftentimes it's because people are just browse crazy and they've got 100, tabs open, at once that they never closed out. And then they wonder, why their phone is slowing down. They got 100 tabs open. They got a Bluetooth on when their Bluetooth isn't connected to anything, but the Bluetooth, frequencies are constantly trying to find something to connect to. They got Wi-Fi on. Wi-Fi is constantly trying to, connect to a solid network in order for the phone to run on. They got GPS on. You know what I mean? All the time. I mean, so it's like, people just, they fry their battery with these things and they don't understand, if you can remember, turn those things off when you're not using them because they kill your battery. Okay. And so I think that has another thing to do with why I'm able to have such good battery life on a multitude of phones. Even phones that have been said to have had challenged battery, I typically don't have many problems with those phones because I just make sure that a lot of the things that I know will drain the battery are turned off. I only turn those things on when I need to use them. If I don't need to use them, they're off, plain and simple. Okay. Yeah, I mean, so far, again, fresh out of the box, I expect, the phone to do, what it's doing, right? It's going to perform nice and snappy. But I mean, I'll definitely follow up in, you know, a few months or whatever, you know, just to kind of, you know, make a how's it going video, see if it's still running strong, you know, and go from there. But I anticipate it will, because of, you know, performance that I've had on previous Pixel devices, including my 9 Pro Fold here. So I don't really think it's going to be an issue. But if I do run into any problems, I will report them for a fact. Okay. But, you know, fresh out of the gate, you know, things are nice, snappy, super fluid, you know, that kind of thing. And so now what we'll do is we'll pop into the settings, and couple little nuances in the way the settings looks. You know, we're running Android 16, you know, fresh out of the box. And I noticed there's, you know, a couple of things that are here on the Pixel 10 Pro that are not on the 9 Pro Fold, which I find very interesting. And I'll talk a little bit about those things momentarily. But first off, we'll just, you know, your account, your Google account, that's first up, you know, pristine tech right there at the top. Now we've got network and internet. Okay, and this is where mobile Wi-Fi, hotspot, internet, SIMs, add a network, airplane mode, hotspot and tethering, data saver, VPN, private DNS, adaptive connectivity, and troubleshoot media connection. Okay, we've got connected devices. This is where you're going to be able to pair Bluetooth devices, you know, previously used with, my Rogue Citra true wireless head. I forgot about those. I forgot I had those things. Man, I got so many pairs of Bluetooth headsets. It's insane. But I mean, these are all, like, I just moved everything from my Pixel 9 Pro Fold onto the Pixel 10 Pro here. So pretty much everything that I connected to the 9 Pro Fold, a lot of that information is now on my Pixel 10 Pro here. So although I've yet to connect either one of these Bluetooth earpieces to this particular phone, the information is there as I had. So connection preferences, Bluetooth, Android Auto, NFC. So you got Bluetooth, auto sharing, nearby audio streams, cross-device services, NFC, Google Cast, connected cameras, printing, Chromebook, quick share, Android Auto, and then we got ultra wideband, which that's turned on, helps identify the relative position of nearby devices that have ultra wideband. Do I need that? Yeah, I'll leave that on for now. Okay. But that's what you're going to find under connected devices. Now, if we go to apps, recently opened apps, general default apps, assistant, screen time, cloud media settings, contact storage, unused apps, app battery usage, special app access. That's what we're going to find under apps. Okay. Oh, didn't mean to do that. Go down to notifications, and under manage, we got app notifications, notification history, conversations, bubbles, privacy, notifications, read, reply, control, notifications on lock screen, sync across devices, dismiss notifications across Pixel devices, general, notification cooldown. Now that's actually pretty cool. So what that is, and I just learned what that is because a lot of times, like when you turn on, say if you turn off your device and you leave it off for a couple hours and you turn it on, well, within that 2-hour time span, you may have gotten a multitude of notifications, you know, text messages, you know, messages from, you know, your friends on WhatsApp, or missed calls, missed emails, you know, whatever you may be subscribed to on YouTube, and you got the notification bell hit, so you're getting notified about all types of content creators, new videos that they've just posted, what have you. Notification cooldown is, rather than just having all those notifications just bombard you, right? And you guys know how it is when you turn your phone on after it being off for a stretch, you know, man, the notification ringers just starts going off and it just starts going crazy and it doesn't stop. If you got 100 notifications, you're going to hear that sound nearly 100 times because it's trying to, you know, get the information for all the missed notifications that you have. Well, what notification cooldown is after like the first or second or third, you know, notification sound that goes off, the phone is going to recognize that you have a slew of notifications that are coming in. And so even though the notifications are going to continue to pour in, the notification sound is going to stop. Okay? Because it's super annoying, right? And it may not be ideal, right? You may be at your place of employment. It may be in the middle of the night. You don't want to wake up the kids, that sort of thing. I mean, so I think that that's a super, super convenient feature. And I'll tap on it real quick. When you receive many notifications within a short time, your device will lower its volume and minimize alerts for up to 1 minute. Calls, alarms, and priority conversations are not affected. Notifications received during the cooldown can be found by pulling down from the top of the screen. Okay. That's very innovative. I like the fact that Google is, trying to make these phones as useful as possible, even by just, deadening the sound of the notifications momentarily, just so that you're not being, bombarded and interrupted, by a lot of these things, right? I like that type of innovation. I like that level of thinking. How can we make things more convenient for the individuals that have pixels in their hands and in their pockets, right? I like stuff like that. I think that that's really cool. Okay. Flash notifications, wireless emergency alerts, hide silent notification and status bar, allow notification snoozing, notification dot on app icon, and then enhanced notifications, get suggested actions, replies, and more. Okay, that's turned off by default. I'll leave that off because I don't necessarily need that on. That's what we're going to find under notifications. Now, if we go down to sounds and vibrations, okay, at the top, audio will play on this phone. Okay. And these are all the different volumes: media volume, call volume, ring volume, notification volume, alarm volume. Okay. Vibration and haptics, those are turned on. When you click on that, this gives you the ability to toggle, how, you want the phone to vibrate. Either you can turn down or turn up the vibration intensity. As you can see, everything is turned up to the max, and I'm pretty sure that's why, the vibration engine feels the way that it feels. But I mean, if it is too intense for some of you, then you do have the ability to turn it down to your heart's content. Okay. Now, I would recommend turning down the haptics or turning the haptics off completely if you don't have a case. Here's why. As I explained in other videos, and I'm not perfect, I make mistakes, but I'm not a phone dropper, right? And that's one of the main reasons why I don't keep screen protectors on my phones, because I don't drop my phones. Now, the instances in which I have dropped my phones, 2 reasons. Either the phone was in my pocket while I was in the car or while I was sitting down, and I didn't realize that the phone was slipping and kind of hanging out of the pocket. So when I went to stand up, then it would just completely fall out of my pocket onto the ground. Or I have vibration turned on, and say in the middle of the night when I'm sleeping and I get a phone call or my alarm start going off, because I have the phone on vibrate while the alarm goes off, so I can hear it buzzing along with the alarm sound. Well, while the phone is vibrating on a flat surface, if you don't have like a case on it or something that is like rubber or TPU or something to hold it in its place and not vibrate, because of the intensity of the vibration motor, it's going to cause the phone to move. And there's been times where my ringtone was going off or the alarm was going off while the phone was vibrating, and it was sitting close enough to the edge of whatever counter or table that I had it sitting on, to where the vibration would just cause it to just vibrate and move to the edge, and it would fall off the doggone side of the table and crash to the ground. Okay. And so that's another reason why I keep my phone in cases, because I always like to have vibration on for phone calls, messages, and especially alarms. While there's a case on the phone, you don't have to worry about that. You can have the phone set on the table and it's ringing, it's vibrating while it's ringing, or notifications or emails going off. It's not going to move. Okay. But if you're rocking the phone booted, bucket naked, and you got the vibration on, be aware. Have your eyes on your phone, because when it starts ringing or the alarm starts going off and it's vibrating, the phone's gonna move. And if it's close enough to an edge, yeah, it's going overboard. And that may cause you to have to file a claim on your brand new shiny Pixel 10 Pro because you left the vibration motor on and it fell off the side of the table and it went crashing to its demise. Oh, so sad, so sad. But hopefully you won't have to deal with anything like that. So if you're rocking the phone booty bucket naked, turn off the vibration motor. If you got it in the case, man, rock out how you want to. Okay, that's just my suggestion. I ain't telling you what to do. You can do what you want to do. You can have the vibration motor on while the phone is booty bucket naked. But I'm just telling you what may happen. Okay, I don't want that to happen to you. You spent your hard-earned $1,000. I want your phones to be in tip-top shape all the time. All right. Now, sound patterns, you got ringtone alert, notification alert, default alarm alert, audio, we got live caption, spatial audio, media, clear calling. Okay, that's reduces background noise during calls. And then the system sounds and vibrations, dial pad tones, screen locking sounds, charging sounds and vibrations, tap and click sounds, always show icon when in vibration mode, and then now playing. Now playing is, some people get real, a lot of people's theories on now playing. Now playing is the feature where the phone is always listening. If there's a song playing in the background at your local Starbucks, say, so to say, and you don't know what that song is, but as you're sipping your caramel frappuccino, you know what I'm saying, or your pumpkin spice latte, you know what I'm saying, or your caramel macchiato, you know what I'm saying, or your hot chocolate, you know what I'm saying, whatever you do at Starbucks, and there's a song playing in the background, and you don't know what that song is, but dog it, it's the doggone cut, you know what I'm saying, and you're sitting there, sipping your drink of choice, you know what I'm saying, got whipped cream all over your lip, you know what I'm saying, bobbing your head to the tunes, loving life, right? But you have no clue who the artist is. Well, you can look down at your phone, and on the bottom of the phone, right here, right above the little clock, it's going to tell you the artist, the name of the song, and then if you click on it, you could set it up to where you could either pull that song up in Spotify, YouTube Music, Apple Music, you know what I'm saying? Whatever your streaming platform is, and you can go ahead and add said song to your playlist. Now you've got it. Okay. So if you're an audiophile like me, I would recommend you never turn off now playing, because I have found some diamonds in a rough, with now playing. There's a lot of riffraff trash out here, and I don't listen to that stuff. And I'm all over the place with music. I don't care about your your nation, race, color, creed. I don't care. If you make good music, you make good music, and I'm gonna bump it. You know what I'm saying? And I have really found some gems by this particular feature alone. And so I love this feature about Pixels, and it's on no other phone. Yeah, on iPhones you got Shazam and stuff like that, but you have to activate those manually when you're listening to a song that you aren't aware of, and hopefully it will give you, the title and the name of the track and the artist. It doesn't always work. There's been, a handful of songs that I tried to use Shazam on, and it just kept saying, like nothing found. And I ended up just not being able to get the information for that song, and it sucked because they were really good songs. So yeah, now playing, dope feature. All right. Now we go to modes. Do not disturb, bedtime, driving. Minimize distractions and take control of your attention with modes for sleep, work, driving, and everything in between. This is very reminiscent to Samsung routines. And yeah, you could, plug these things in, and, your phone will behave accordingly based on how you set it to while you're in these particular settings. I believe you have to have a notification on so the phone will be able to recognize when you are at, either these settings, or when it's, when you're driving, when you're not home, or if it's bedtime, when you are home, do not disturb, flip this, what have you. Yeah, if that's something that you want to take advantage of, you do have that here on your Pixel 10 Pro Fold. Now, display and touch, brightness level, adaptive brightness, lock screen, always on display. Now, I've noticed that always on display is now a feature in which you can click on the Pixel 10 Pro. Now, on my Pixel 9 Pro Fold, when I go into settings and I go into display and touch, you see brightness level, adaptive brightness, lock screen, and then it goes to continue using apps on Fold, but there isn't a section for, wait, let me make sure. Yeah, you don't see a section for always on display. Now, the phone does have always on display because it's right there. But under settings, there isn't a place where you can go and like click on it, And so here, this is where you can turn it off, turn it on. But then you've also got wallpaper options. And so it says show lock screen wallpaper is visible with always on display. And what that is when you lock the phone, that is filthy, ladies and gentlemen. That is dope, right? Just you see, like, Halloween, Michael Myers, my favorite horror character, and I'm a huge horror movie fan. That's why I've got Mike Myers on all my wallpapers. Same wallpaper here. But I mean, that just looks, the way that looks, just like you see a little silhouette of him in the background, like that is. And it's just like this. This is my Pixel, this is my Galaxy Z Fold 7, okay? When you hit the lock screen, you could still see, well, there's a glare, but you could still see the silhouette of his face in the background. And so, Apple originated this when they first implemented always on display on the iPhones. And it just seems like all the other OEMs are running with it. Before, it just used to be, before always on display was this, right? And you can toggle, how big or small you wanted the clock size and the notifications or whatnot. But now, you got, the wallpaper silhouette in the background. Like that just looks crazy to me, and I love it. And then obviously, when you double tap the phone to wake it up, boom, it comes to life. It recognizes my face. The phone just opens right up, and there it is. And those of you that I don't change launchers or anything, what I'll do is, to get these wallpapers, I'll either find them on Zedge, Zedge. I have a membership on Zedge where they just, wallpapers, ringtones, all kinds of stuff. I mean, you pay a one-time fee and it's just like $5.99 or something like that. And you got access to it forever. And, all the newest, latest wallpapers and things, ringtones, all that type of stuff, you'll have at your disposal. Either that, or what I'll do is I'll just Google Michael Myers, and then I'll click on images once the results show up. And then, I'll screenshot the images that I like. And then what I'll do is I'll tweak them, if I want to, edit them, if I want to make them lighter, darker, what have you. And then I'll go ahead and change the wallpaper, and I'll just use, that pinch to zoom, or like pinch in, to kind of, make it fit the screen and just kind of move it around or whatnot, which is how I was able to achieve this particular look right here with the screensaver. So that's how I do stuff like that. Some people are, they hit me in the comments, oh, what launcher is that? It's like, it's not a launcher, dude. It's just a wallpaper that I found on Google. and I screenshotted it and I tweaked it a little bit and made it my screensaver. So yeah, you know, that's if you're curious to know how I do that, that's how I do that. You know, yeah, moving right along. All right. So yeah, always on display, screen timeout. We do have the feature on this device where the screen will not turn off as long as you're looking at it, which is a very nice feature to have. Display size and text, you know, this is where you can go and you can, you know, change the font size, you know, you can change the size of the apps and stuff like that. Bold text, you know, I like things to be bold. You know, I do have, you know, sight issues at times without my glasses, and so bold text really helps me to see things nice and clear. And then we have outline text. Add a black or white background around text to increase contrast. And so if you turn that on, you see it lights up the words, but then when you go outside of this, then like certain other things in the settings, like I don't know, it does weird things to some of the words. I mean, you can see things a little clearer, but then other things, like the contrast that it adds, it's odd. And so I just leave that off. Okay. Navigation mode. This is where we can go to, by default, the phone is on gesture navigation, or you can have the 3-button navigation. Now, on candy bar style devices, gesture navigation is the way to go. Okay. On these folding devices, you know, on my Z Fold 7 here, Pixel 9 Pro Fold here, you know, because of how delicate those inner screens are, you know, I just turn on, you know, the 3-button gesture, the 3-button navigation, you know, just to avoid constantly, you know, swiping across the screen and, you know, potentially damaging it. You know, I don't necessarily baby those devices, but I'm extremely careful about what I'm doing when I'm handling them. Okay. Yeah. So, and then we have circle to search here at the bottom. Okay. So that's under navigation mode. Screensaver. Click on that. Use screensaver. I mean, you've got, I don't know, if you turn this on, you've got a few different screensavers to choose from. You can have pixel weather, pilot bold clock, home controls, Google Photos, everyday clock, flipboard. You know, you get the gist. Okay, that's under screensaver. Oh, turn that off. All right, now we have color, adaptive tone, dynamically adapts the display to warmer or cooler tones based on ambient lighting. That's on by default. Probably going to end up turning that off. We've got nightlight, colors, adaptive. Okay, and that is on adaptive by default. Okay, if you hit natural, you do see a bit of a difference. Adaptive, the colors are a bit more vibrant, a bit more saturated. I like that. I don't mind that at all whatsoever. And yeah. Now, interestingly enough, with either one of these that you choose, you do not have the ability to change the RGB. So whichever one you choose, that's just what it is. Okay. It's not like Samsung, where when you choose Vivid or something like that on a Galaxy device, it gives you the option to toggle the RGB and you know, how warm or cool you want it to be, all that type of thing. You don't get those luxuries on the Pixel devices, and it's not really a big deal, not to me at least. Color contrast. Okay, higher contrast makes text, buttons, and icons stand out more. Choose the contrast that looks best to you. Okay, and so you've got default, medium, or high. Let me see, outlined text. See, now that makes the words pop, but there's like this little black outline around the words. And when I turned it on earlier, it was a white outline just like this. And I did not like that. That's what I was talking about when I said it just does like weird things to the way that certain texts look on certain things. So that's color contrast. Touch, we've got touch sensitivity, touch diagnostics, other display controls, auto rotate screen, screen resolution. Okay. So we got high resolution, that's 1080 by 2410, or max resolution 1280 by 2856. So by default, it's on high resolution 1080 by 2410. Okay. Max resolution uses more of your battery. Switching your resolution may cause some apps to restart. Okay. And then we got the smooth display. Automatically raises the refresh rate up to 120 Hertz for some content, increases battery usage. Okay. So just be mindful that it's gonna, drain a little bit more battery when you have that on. But trust me, if you turn it off and you're just navigating this phone, swiping back and forth on 60 Hertz, that ain't the move. I'm telling you right now, that ain't the move. You will turn smooth display right back on. Unless your battery is compromised, then I think when you put on battery saving mode, it automatically turns off smooth display, just to conserve battery life. All right. Now, wallpaper and style. This is where you can go to change your wallpaper. You got different clock styles and things that you can choose. Clock face width that you could choose. You got style, color, and size. Okay. We've got shortcuts. So let's see, this is on the lock screen. I've got flashlights selected as the shortcut, but you've got none, do not disturb, home, QR code scanner, wallet, camera, flashlight, mute, or video camera. Okay, that's the left shortcut. And then you got the right shortcut. And this is all on the lock screen. Okay, so for the left shortcut, I've got flashlight. Let me see, for the right shortcut, what could I use? What could I use? Let's just do camera. Okay, and then you hit apply. So on the lock screen, on the left bottom, flashlight, right bottom, camera. Okay. Notifications on lock screen and more lock screen settings, privacy now playing, and more. All right. That's all under wallpaper and style. So we've got storage, 45% used. Again, this is the 128 gig variant of the Pixel 10 Pro. I've got 70.78 gigabytes free, which that's more than enough than what I need. Okay. But here it tells you, like apps, 29 apps, or the apps are using 29 gigabytes, videos 2.5 gigabytes, images, 709 megabytes, audio 32 megabytes, games, I don't have any games on here, documents, other, trash, Android 16, 11 gigs, temporary system files, 15 gigs, right? So those are the things that, are taking, the gigage, as my man Flossie Carter would say, away from my device, leaving me with 70.78 gigs free to use. Okay, backup or copy data, battery, system, about phone. Let me see, backup or copy data. This is where, you can, toggle this on or off if you want the phone to back stuff up, when it's on the charger and not being used versus you having to do backups manually. And then you could copy data using Android Switch. Okay, when we click on battery, let's see, reduce screen timeout, long screen timeout consumes battery. Okay, thank you for that little tidbit of information, that little nugget of info. Battery usage, view usage since last full charge. Okay, reduce screen timeout to extend battery life. All right, got it. Okay, that can go away. And yeah, I mean, so far it's just telling me, what apps have used the most screen time. And these are just some of the apps that I've gone into since the recording of this video. And yeah, so that seems to be working pretty accurately. And yeah, but we've got battery usage, battery saver. Okay, safe power to help your phone's battery last, longer between charges. Okay, so we have standard battery saver, limits visual effects and background activity, turns on dark theme if not already on. Extreme battery saver includes all changes listed above, also pauses non-essential apps and their notifications. You got schedule and reminders, manage when battery saver turns on, and then you've got adaptive battery, which is also turned on as well by default. Okay. You got battery health. Right now it's normal, as it should be. This phone is fresh out the box. View battery health status and tips to extend your battery's lifespan. Okay. Battery capacity, hit the little arrow here. This is an estimated percentage of charge the battery can currently hold compared to a new standard battery. Battery capacity decreases over time, as we all know. Okay. We've got battery health articles, and then charging optimization, which adaptive charging finishes charging to 100% right before you normally unplug. Limits to 80. Your phone will only charge to 80% battery. Yeah. So you've got some charging optimization as well, and these things will help conserve, the lifespan of the battery. Okay. Battery diagnostics. So if there's anything wrong with the battery, this is where you can go and the phone will test the battery to check its legitimacy, to see if it's faulty, see if it's functioning optimally. Good feature to have, because batteries are very important in these little smart devices that we tout around with us on a daily. So we've got battery draining too quickly, phone is very warm, issue with charging, or other issue. Now, it says, what do you need help? Let's just say phone is running warm. Okay. Device temperature. Okay. So it's going to test it. And the estimated temperature is typical with normal phone use. Okay. Now let's go to battery draining too quickly. Okay. Battery health is normal. Then it says settings that impact your battery life. Screen display, apps using more battery, and so forth. So these are what you'll find under the battery diagnostics. Okay. And then battery percentage. Yes, I want that on so I can see what my battery percentage is when I take a look at the top of my device. All right. System. We've got language and region, keyboard, live translate, navigation mode, gestures. Let me see. Gesture navigate. Okay. Yeah. Now we've already gone there. Now, gestures. So quick tap to start actions. That's to take screenshots. Double press power button to open the camera. Flip camera for selfie. That's on. Tap to check phone on. Lift to check phone on. One-handed mode is off. Flip to on. Press and hold power button to access power menu. These things all can be changed. Okay. I just wish that there was a double tap feature to lock the screen. Like that will be my own. That's actually never been on a Pixel, but it's on pretty much every other phone that I have. So yeah, creature of habit. I've been spoiled, But yeah, so those are the gestures that we've got on the Pixel 10 Pro. Date and time, backup, software updates, which my device is up to date. Okay. Not sure why my camera's shaking. All right. Daily Hub. Show a space for content and suggestions to simplify your day. Now, this is very reminiscent to the iPhone's Dynamic Island and Samsung's what are they calling this? I forgot what they're calling this. Yeah, it's a little what are they calling this? Dang it, I hate when that happens. It's right on the tip of my tongue. Yeah, but anyway, so yeah, it's just a little like pocket of information that's right there on the bottom of the screen on the Samsung. On the Pixel, It is when you lock the device. See that double tap to lock would be very nice. It was information that will pop up right up underneath the clock there. And then you could click on it, and it will, oh, pardon me, it will give you just some useful nuggets of information, you know, based on, you know, the phone, you know, it learns your usage patterns and stuff like that. And it'll give you, you know, pertinent information about things that you typically are more, you know, likely to look up, or a multitude of things that maybe what you've looked up before. And then it's like, as those things are constantly updated, then it will give you those updates so that you can constantly stay in the know. Okay. But yeah, that is under system. Okay. Daily Hub is what it's called here. Rules, users, repair mode, reset options. That's all we've got under system. Okay, we've got about phone, security and privacy, location, passwords, pass keys and accounts, digital well-being and parental controls, Magic Queue. Okay, now Magic Queue uses AI to proactively show useful details and time-saving actions relevant to what's on your phone. Okay, so types of suggestions: find info instantly, finish tasks faster. Under find info instantly, Magic Queue shows you the info you need based on what you're doing on screen, so you don't have to go find it. Okay, finish task faster. When you need to finish a task in another app, Magic Queue shows you a link to complete the action. Oh, that's dope. Okay. Get suggestions while using apps. While Magic Queue has suggestions while you're using certain apps, they appear at the bottom of your screen. Okay, now we've got data sources for suggesting info or actions. Use data from specific apps. Choose which apps Magic Queue should use data from. Use data from recent screen activity. Allow Magic Queue to review recent screen activity. Use foundational data. Allow the use of foundational data such as the email and phone number from your Google account. Okay. And then you got Magic Queue updates, which it says it's up to date. And then here, there's just a tutorial on how it works. And then it talks about your privacy here, just basically ensuring that your privacy will not be infringed upon, you know, if you're using, you know, the feature Magic Queue. Okay. Safety and emergency SOS, medical info and alerts, accessibility. So we've got, downloaded apps under accessibility: shopping, screen reader, talkback, display. We got display size and text, color and motion, magnification, magnifier, adjust brightness for sensitive eyes, select to speak for the hearing impaired, or hear selected text, simple view, and then interactions with controls, accessibility menu, voice access, vibration and haptics, switch access, timing controls, system controls, and then captions: live caption, live transcribe, caption preference, real-time text or RTT. Audio, we've got audio description here, description of what's happening on screen in supported movies and shows, flash notifications, sound amplifier, sound notification, hearing devices, audio adjustment, and then under general, we've got accessibility shortcuts and text-to-speech output. So as you can see, there is a whole host of features under accessibility, you know, that will accommodate you and your ability to navigate this device if you have this device and you're dealing with something that falls under the options under the accessibility tab. And then we've got device health and support. Okay. Of course, as suspected, everything looks good. Battery health, device temperature, storage, software update. We've got warranty, tips and support, contact support, starter repair. Okay, that's all under device health and support. Okay, so that, ladies and gentlemen, is the settings, features of the device. Now I will, where is the camera? Okay, the camera is right here. Okay, so before you start, we've got motion photo, capture a few seconds of video when taking a photo. Top shot, automatically takes several photos when there are people in the picture to make sure you get the perfect shot. Auto best take, automatically choose the best expressions from photos taken around the same time to create a new image, requires top shot. And then we've got 100 times ProRes zoom, download AI imaging models over Wi-Fi automatically for enhanced photo quality. Okay. And then it says you can always change these. You can always change these preferences and remove download models in camera settings. Okay, done. All right. So, starts off under photo mode. To the left, we've got portrait. We've got Add Me, latest AR app is needed. Add Me requires the latest version of the Google Play services for AR app. Okay, and then we've got long exposure, action pan, some things that I've never seen before. We've got night sight, and then we've got panorama. Okay, so we'll just go back to photo and then we'll click on the options. Okay, so general, we got night sight, that's on auto. Top shot, I believe that's on. Motion photo, that's auto. Timer is on 0. Macro focus, full image, 4:3. And this is just the general settings. So then we got pro, and then you got resolution 12 megapixel. You can change the resolution. You got raw JPEG only. You could toggle that. And you got lens selection. Okay, that's on auto by default. Okay. And let me see here. So, wow, look at that. That just looks insane. Okay. Quick capture just captures everything. I just took a picture of just like the stuff that's right here. It's my Switch 2 and, you know, yeah, my little hourglass and okay, now flip the camera around. Here I am in front of the camera. Take a quick selfie. Okay. Man, that color reproduction is just, look at the detail. Man, that is, yeah. That's very nice. All right. And so we've got some more settings here. Let me see. So we've got some toggles here. We've got shadows, exposure, and white balance. I mean, so those can all be toggled as well. Yeah. You got some stuff that you can do on this camera. Is there anything else under general that I'm missing? Let's see, we've got 3 dots right here. Let me click on that. Okay, so these are all the camera settings right here. Okay. So save location, camera sounds, device storage, camera scan suggestions, model download. What is that? Okay, Pixel Camera uses generative AI models to enhance quality during image processing. Okay, and this is for ProRes zoom, I assume, because it says that right there. Okay, now composition. We've got framing hints, grid type. Yeah, I like, okay, grid 3x3. I like that. Okay, keep selfies as seen, save selfies as they appear on screen. Guided frame for people with blindness or low vision. Helps frame and automatically take photos. That's nice. And then it says see tutorial right there. So there's a tutorial for you if that's a feature that you need to use with this camera. Okay. We've got Camera Coach Preview, get photo inspiration and capture the perfect shot with step-by-step guidance. Okay, that's Camera Coach. All right. Now, fast access, quick access controls, adjust white balance, brightness, and shadows by tapping the viewfinder. Volume key action, shutter, palm timer, start a photo timer by showing your palm to the front, rear, or to the front or rear camera. That's, you know, a page that they tore out of Samsung's playbook. Let me see. Okay, so for photos, we've got rich color in photos. Use display P3 color format instead of RGB for richer and more vibrant colors. Display P3 may be visible before the photo is taken or supported on all platforms or apps. Ultra HDR, that's toggled on. Auto best take, that's also toggled on. Social media depth features, that's off. Depth data will be saved. This data may be used by social media apps. Top shot will be turned off and photos may take longer to process. Okay. Then we've got frequent faces. What is that? When you take top shot photos or touch and hold for top shot, frequent faces prioritizes the people you photograph the most. Oh, okay. I get that. This helps your camera show skin tones more accurately and recommend the best photos. Frequent faces data is only saved on this device and can only be accessed by this camera app. Okay, cool. Then you got astrophotography. Okay, turn on time lapse for astrophotography, turn on animation for astrophotography. That stuff is all on by default. And then for video, you got video stabilization, that's turned on. Audio zoom, zooming in on subject boosts sound and reduces background noise. Video format, here are the different formats. Okay, if you just want to pause the video right here to look at those formats. Optimize frames per second, automatically adjust from 60 FPS to 30 FPS to optimize the recording experience when needed. Okay, that's pretty dope. Okay, advanced capture, timer light, show dirty lens warning, underwater photography and videos. And then we've got help and feedback, send feedback, and help. Okay, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is all you're going to find under the camera app. Okay. And so, yeah, I think that, ladies and gentlemen, is all the things that I wanted to show here. This is where I'm going to call this video. But yeah, I need to contact Google Fi, and I'm going to be switching my SIM from my Z Fold 7 here onto my Google Pixel 10 Pro. I have a physical SIM inside of this device, but you know, the new Pixels, they don't take physical SIMs, and so it has to be eSIM only. So I have to contact Google Fi and have them help me download my information. Well, maybe I'll try to do it myself. It's not like they're not T-Mobile. T-Mobile makes you call customer care and go through the process. Maybe Google Fi will let me do it on my own. That will be sweet. So yeah, I'll try that first, and then if I have some complication, then I'll contact Google Fi. But nonetheless, I mean, this is going to be my daily driver moving forward. Stay tuned for the full pristine review, camera review coming for the Google Pixel 10 Pro. Thanks for tuning in. If you like this video, you already know, hit that thumbs up button. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe to expose yourself to tons of videos that I've done like this. Please click that notification bell so that every time my videos drop, you can get notified that a new video dropped by me, and you can be one of the first to check it out. If you got any questions, comments, feedback of any kind, hit me up in the comment section. That's where I'm always chilling at. The only thing that I ask is that we keep it nice, cool, calm, respectful in the comment section. Let's talk tech respectfully. I respect your views, you respect mine, and we can have peaceful, informative chit chats, conversations, or even debates about this technology. Okay? You already know, please stay safe, get spiritually fit, because we're definitely living in the last days, and keep it pristine in every aspect of your lives. I'm your man bringing you the content, Mr. Pristine. This is the Pixel 10 Pro. Catch you guys in the next video. Peace.